Space. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun and try to answer the question, what type of player are you? We're talking about Star Wars Unlimited Player Profiles, or just maybe Star Wars gamers in general, but this one will be focused on Unlimited. So we're going to take a look at an older, some archetypes that came from an old Magic the Gathering article. So they talk about having 3 different types of players that play their game. They break them down into Timmy, Johnnies, and Spikes. Since then, I think they've gone on to talk about a couple others, but they're more, they say the newer profiles are more based on aesthetics rather than like gameplay, what drives, why you play the game. So we're going to focus on these 3 here. So they talk about Timmy as a power gamer. That's someone who likes to do big things, likes to make flashy plays, likes to, play the strongest cards that they can. And they're someone who wants to win by, making these big explosive plays. And if they get their, big plays off, they're generally happy. So they're not concerned with how many times they win, as long as they get to do their cool thing that they're trying to do or trying to set up or play their big cards. They're a player that really focuses on fun. It's not to say they can't be, competitive. They still want to win, but they also are focused on having fun. Johnny's the creative gamer. They're the one who is, focused on self-expression as a way of enjoying the game. So they're going to make decks that are a little more unique. They just don't want to play, whatever's meta. They want to come at it from a unique angle, and they're probably someone that's going to try variety over playing one deck over and over. And they might branch out into a bunch of different decks. And then the last type that they identified for their card game was Spike player, and this is a competitive tournament player. They're there to win, and winning is the most important thing. Fun is secondary. As long as they win, then they are having fun. So this is the player that is going to play whatever the best deck is, or whatever deck they think is the best, and they enjoy the satisfaction of outplaying their opponents, being the best. So we're going to look at some Star Wars characters and see if we can rename these in the world of SWU here. So the first one we are going to talk about is Palpatine. Palpatine is going to be our version of Timmy. And I picked Palpatine because I think he fits the bill rather well. He has always had that, flair for the dramatic. He doesn't just want to succeed, he wants to succeed in style. I think about him being in the throne room with Luke and Vader. Luke's confronting him, and he's kind of revealing his grand plan. He spins the chair around real slowly like a prima donna and starts talking to him, and, "Oh, you didn't know my battle station's operational?" Just kind of wants the big reveal there as he starts blowing ships up. And to me, that kind of embodies Timmy, making the big flashy dramatic plays. And I mean, no one goes bigger than Palp. He built not 1 but 2 gigantic world-killing Death Stars, and so he's not just out to carve out a piece of territory to dominate. He wants to dominate the entire galaxy. So he's definitely going big. And you know what? Palp's having fun while he's out there. Like, you can't tell me that that this guy is not having a blast fighting Jedi and killing people and taking over the galaxy. So Palpatine's our Timmy. So what does it mean for you if you're a Palpatine player? well, you might be the type of player that's drawn to like a Piet deck, playing those big ships, the Devastator, Annihilator, maybe even the Executor. You open those 11, 11, 12, 12 ships in your packs, and you want to get that thing on the table, and you want to smash your opponent's face with it, right? Or crate dragons, that kind of stuff. Maybe you're playing Hantu Blue right now. At the time of this recording, we're in the back half of the Set 5 Legacy of the Force meta. So you want those crate dragons, you want those other big ships, profundities, and so forth. Maybe you're playing Yoda, maybe you're going Starhawk mode, getting that thing down on the table. Or it could be a Kylo. Build a gigantic Kylo out of your discard pile, wait past 7 resources, just make them a 14/14 beat stick and smash your opponent right in the mouth with them. That seems like a Palpatine style play. Or maybe it's something a little more, not just brute force, but a little more flashy, something like a Qui-Gon. You might sneak attack in a home 1 when you're on 12 resources and play a home 1 and a Kellerin, and don't check my math on that, maybe it's not 12 resources, but and then you bounce the home 1 back to your hand to play something else for free with Qui-Gon and just make this big massive play. So that's the type of things that we're talking about here, and if you enjoy doing those things, you might be a Palpatine player. Alright, next up we are talking about Ahsoka. And Ahsoka is who I've chosen to kind of represent the player who really enjoys, self-expression. She's a character who is not afraid to go her own way. She leaves the Jedi Order in order to do her own thing, and even when she is working as fulcrum with the rebels, she's not really, she's kind of doing her own thing still. She's not, fully integrated with the rebellion, and so that's why I picked her. Also, she's got her own unique lightsaber style. She said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna do the one lightsaber thing. I'm gonna go double with my own style, and then she can be a bit stubborn. She's not gonna, not going to let other people tell her what to do. So if you identify with Ahsoka, then you might be the type of player who is always looking for their own way to do well. So this is coming up with your own off-meta brew. This is playing leaders that no one else is playing, trying to make cards work that people tell you are not good. I'm gonna win with it right now. So that's and then when you get your wins, it's gonna be all the more satisfying, right? Probably the type of player that might be annoyed if a deck that you've been playing for a long time suddenly becomes popular in the meta, because you want to be known as the person who plays that deck and plays it well. So that, if that sounds like you, then you might be an Ahsoka player. Alright, and our third one here, we've got, representing the spikes, we've got Anakin, of course. There could be no other character in all of Star Wars that embodies the win at any costs mentality, right? He's going to do what it takes to win, even if it means dabbling with the dark side, right? Turning to the dark side, whatever it takes to be the best. And he really doesn't have a dial it back mode. He doesn't do anything with half measures. Everything is always all the way. And so if you're this type of player, you are not showing up to your weekly play night with a bad deck. You're bringing your tier 1 deck. That's the way you're built, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to play the best deck. People sometimes we're going to use net decker as a dirty term, but hey, that's the way the game goes. there's so much information out there now. You're going to find what decks are good and you're going to play them, and that's modern, TCGs and CCGs. Some of the old school players, may not like the idea behind that, but I think that's a whole different discussion. But it's moving the game forward. So yeah, if your goal is to win and compete, and you're going to PQs and above, then taking the deck that gives you the best chance, then you might be an Anakin player. I've added two more. One I think is very relevant. The second one, maybe not. But this one I think is necessary for a game with the Star Wars IP. Because there is another type of player that has a totally different motivation. Because Star Wars is such a big IP, there are people that are fans of Star Wars first, and card gamers second, and so they're going to come into this game with a totally different set of priorities maybe when they're playing the game. So we're going to call them Chewie players, because they might have a favorite character that they are drawn to, and they're going to play that character no matter what. And Chewie was loyal to the core. He was never leaving Han's side, no matter what happened. And he had his own, internal code. Even when Han in the EU kind of released him from his life debt, he was like, no, I'm sticking it out. Han was kind of trying to convince him, you don't have to keep doing this with me. No, I'm sticking it out to the bitter end. And so these types of players might have their own set of, rules for deck construction. Like, I don't want to put in characters that wouldn't have been alive in the same time period in my deck, because that's breaking the, timeline in my head. And so these type of players are loyal to the franchise, to the IP first maybe, or loyal to a specific character before they are the game itself. And then lastly, we've got, I added in Dr. Afra here to represent the players that might be more collectors than players. And this goes along again with being a Star Wars IP. There's going to be people that are drawn to the game just because they want to collect the cards, and these people might want the fancy versions. They want the prestige variants. They want the hyperspace foils. They want the weekly play promos. And in the comics, obviously, she is an archaeologist, a treasure hunter, kind of the Indiana Jones gone bad character. And she doesn't care what other people think. She's not afraid to kind of step up and tangle with Vader and those other characters. And if you're playing with your fancy cards, you might not care that you're shuffling expensive cards, or maybe you're the type of person that likes to alter their cards, right? Get some signatures on there. People are going, oh, you're decreasing the value. So there's a couple different ways you can go with this, but more of a collector-driven player rather than a fully competitive player. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just one of these. I think most of us are going to fit into a couple different buckets, so to speak. So I myself am probably mostly an Anakin, mostly a competitive player, but I also, when I'm at a PQ or Worlds or something like that, obviously I'm going to be playing the best deck. I want to win. I'm there to win. But I also can, find myself being more of a Ahsoka, where I'm trying to be creative. I want to bring, different decks, my own decks, to lower level events. Like if I go to a store showdown or a weekly night, weekly play, that I'm going to bring some jank or something interesting or something different, to try it out. So yeah, post in the comments below what player or combination of players you might be, if you want, or maybe there's a whole other archetype out there that I didn't think about that you would consider yourself. Thanks for tuning in. May the force be with you, and we will see you next time.